Hey everybody, it is kendelllenice and welcome to Reviews and News. I'm so excited as I was. I think I'm going to be excited, always when we're doing this show. But I laughed so hard. I called Tamia. I was like, Tamia, I texted her. I said, I sound so loud and excited on that episode. And then I was like, oh, I didn't have my mic on. So today, hopefully, it'll blot out some of the and you'll hear my true voice. I'm not saying I can't guarantee that I won't be loud today, but it may not be as screechy. I was laughing at our show yesterday. So for those that don't know what I'm talking about and you're just tuning in, welcome. We did, and I say we, and you'll see who I'm talking about in a moment, but Bobby Brown's biopic aired. The first part aired yesterday on A&E, and then the second part aired. So we did the recap for part one, which was Birth and Rebirth. And today we are going to do the recap in part two, doing it the Bobby Brown way. So we got a lot of feedback. People enjoyed the show. So we're going to do it again. And if these ladies are down to do part 3 and 4 at some point this week, that's what we're going to do and conclude it this week so you can know what we think. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest. So again, this is kendelllenice, the remix coach for Reviews and News. Now, hopefully with my mic, I get to hear these ladies. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I can hear you. So I'm gonna probably have to take my mic off. All right, so they're gonna get what they're gonna get now. I'm taking my mic off. So when I'm doing it by myself, you can hear me, but when I have guests with the mic, I can't hear them. So let me take the mic out. And look at Basine. She probably that's probably her new addition hat. I got some look. And why did y'all look? We all did the same thing. Wait a minute, let me take this out.
Yeah.
Bobby all over me. Bobby all over me. We can't hear you.
All right, welcome back to Reviews. So I knew, look, we all got props. I got this one, my tea. Wait, let me see. I got this one. And look, I had to pull this out. I had my Bobby Brown shirt, one of the shirts on the other day, but I had to pull out this one that he signed at the book signing.
Yes.
So I already had this shirt. Look, I cut it up, made it cute. But I already had this shirt. And at the book signing, they were like, remember, Basine, Bobby is not going to sign anything other than the book.
Other than the book. Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, let me just bring this. He was talking to people's mamas on the phone. He was signing albums and tapes and all of that. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to bring my shirt. And if y'all can see let me see. Let me know if y'all can see it. You see it?
Yes.
I see it. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He signed it. And even with the book, I forgot about it, Tamia. I had your book signed.
Yes, you did.
So I forgot all about that. So Tamia couldn't make it, but I had him sign her book. So she does have an autograph.
Yes, I do.
Signed.
I'm not in my home location where all my Bobby paraphernalia is. So right. I don't travel without something. So I did have this.
No, that's right.
See, and we were at that same concert together, me and Tamia. And Chanel, shout out Chanel. That was in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yes, where I made my way to the front of the stage.
Yeah, we always at the front. We weren't just at the front of the stage. We were at the stage the whole time. All my pictures I took of Bobby Brown, they like this. Absolutely. Let's see. Bobby Brown was the man back in the day in E for Life. Yep. 3D. All right. That's live. Thank y'all for watching live. All right. So we're back. As you can see, what color is scrolling here?
Red.
Yes, red. Bobby's favorite color, if you don't know.
Absolutely. So, all right. So we ain't going to make this one as long, but we had to lay down some ground rules. We had to let you know yesterday in part one, like how far our fandom or family goes back with
Bobby Brown. So we had to let you know. So when you're watching this show, you know that you ain't dealing with people that's new to this. You dealing with people that's true to this.
True to this.
Right. So we had to let you know.
Fam for life.
Absolutely. We had to let you know what was going down. All right. So part 2. Biopic. I keep saying biopic, but it was Bobby Brown's bio. So I guess it is a bio. It wasn't a pic. So a bio. Bobby participates, obviously, and then all the people who love him, all his brothers participate, and anybody else who was inspired by Bobby Brown, right? So part 1 was yesterday and part 2 was yesterday. But y'all see how much time we spent on part 1. So we can't put them together. So this trio is going to do each part separately. All right. So we're talking about Bobby Brown's biopic part 2, which is called Doing It the Bobby Brown Way. So that's a double entendre because Bobby Brown Way, the street that just was named after him.
Now him, correct.
Right. And then now we know Bobby going to do it his way, whether we like it or not.
His way all day.
Right. His way all day. But before we get that, let me just say that Alicia is a real one. Okay. Because he goes into being a sex addict and talking about his sexcapades in this one. He talks about how his love for Whitney. He talks about, and that's his wife. And he's been reported to say, and he said it in other things, that, hey, she accepts all of me. She knows I had a past and I can be real and honest. So Tamia, what you think about that? Let's just start, because I know Alicia's your girl.
But that's my girl. I know her.
Right. That's your girl.
But if you think about it, she watched it all unfold as a young lady. As a young lady, she had standards from the gate. You know, she had a crush on him like we all did and do, you know. So from the gate, she watched it in its true sense. It wasn't something that was watered down or given to her. It was watched. So no one could come to her and tell her anything about Bobby because she already knew. So firsthand, not even him. He couldn't even come to her and lie and say, this is this, and that, because she was in the industry. So she saw it. She was right there. So she knew, and she knew him back then. You know, I love this. We all knew this, but she was the girl with the saxophone in Rum's video. We knew that. You know, everybody was looking at the girl with the saxophone. That was her. So they had been around one another in the business. And you guys know from the movie, if you don't know, she is the one who talked him out of his jitters the same day at the wedding in New Jersey. To marry Whitney. So you talking about full circle. Yes.
Full circle. Wow. All right. So this episode opens up with of course, Bobby Brown Way. And I just thought he was so humble at that point, and he didn't know what to say. He said, I don't even know how to thank you. Then he said, thank you.
He was like, I don't know how to say thank you, but thank you.
Right, but thank you. And it was just beautiful. Alicia looked good in that scene, by the way. I don't know if y'all saw her.
She did. Yes, Alicia and the Princia.
Was standing right next to him. And Mike was there, of course, with his date, his basketball.
They were basketball.
Right. And I just thought it was pretty awesome to do that. And if you missed yesterday's recap, we said we are going to go to Boston and take a picture by that. All right. So they started off by talking about what we kind of ended in yesterday's show, is how he said, how did I get kicked out of the group? Let's tell the story.
Right.
So do y'all want to touch on that? Oh, well, first let me say with Bobby, I love that he said, I don't know how to receive. I'm better at giving.
How we talked about it yesterday.
Right. And I just thought that was, you can tell the testimony. We're going to talk about how, in like later on, but how he gave that lady.
Oh, I got, yes.
Remember? All right. So let's talk about how he got kicked out of the group. Who wants to start off with that? Who wants to kick it off?
Go ahead, babe.
Basically, he was doing his thing and wasn't apologetic for it. And they decided, of course, the management was in their ear
I think, which played a big part of it. Because I think if the
Absolutely.
guys were able to really kind of be stern with him one-on-one, it may have went a little differently. Not that he may not have said, well, let me just go ahead and disconnect kind of thing. Let me do my thing and y'all, appreciate and respect what I'm trying to do. Because his heart was always with the group. No matter what Bobby did individually, his heart was for his friends.
Yeah.
But the management was in the other boys' ears. So they felt like they were at their wits' end. And this was their livelihood. So they've already gotten a taste of that success as a group. And they didn't want that to end in their minds because of a bad seed. According to that was the way the management was putting it in their minds that, he's going to take you all down. Basically, that was the wording that the guys got. And they made, that heart-wrenching decision, to all unanimously raise their hand and say, we agree, he got to go.
Yeah, and all of them. Well, Tamia, guess who's watching live? Me, you, and him got a picture together at me and his 8th grade graduation. Who was in that picture? Remember?
Me, you, and him.
You came to me and his 8th grade graduation because Tamia graduated a year before me. Us.
You got me on that. Oh, Sean Timberlake. I said Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Shout out to Blessing.
Keep it in the family. Keep it in the family.
Yes.
He's a childhood friend of ours. But
you know what's funny about that? How they say he wanted this sound because if you remember when he broke off, they was like, you still sound like New Edition, like you singing these songs. You know what I mean? I got a girlfriend that was, so like he was still sounding like New Edition. And the reason why he broke away from them because he felt like he wasn't like he was growing up. He needed growing up, but the songs wasn't. But he still was singing the song. Yeah, so it was almost
he was
like
getting away from the bubble
but
gum.
I'm New Edition for life. You know what I mean? So I think that was a good point that was pointed out. He wanted the sound.
He was moving from bubblegum to
licorice. No, I'm only kidding.
Trident.
Correct. Trident.
Double mint. No, to double mint. He went from bubble gum to
double mint. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Double mint.
Where you can crack the gum. You've grown then.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It is so funny. It's so funny what we think of. I'm not, but Angelique Rice. You remember Angelique Rice?
Yes.
We went to junior high school. I've told her this over the years. We talking about gum, and then Sean Timberlake. It remind me because we all went to junior high together. But popping gum. I remember that Angelique Harding in the 7th grade, she could pop her gum, and she was trying to teach me how to do it. And I remember looking in her mouth to see what her teeth were doing, popping gum. And it was double mint. That was the gum.
That's funny.
So it brings it back to our junior high moment for a moment. All right. So they start in with all the arrests and the trials and the bad boy image, and they talk about that. Now, a lot of people think that they know what had happened. And if you saw the movie, the Bobby Brown story, then you knew a little bit. A lot of times he was getting arrested. It was for the same thing over and over again with his traffic violations. So it wasn't like hard crimes, but he said that started at the concert. The girl we was talking about yesterday with the green turtleneck.
In their mind, he was doing lewd acts.
But remember,
and that's what we see every day now.
But he was like, it ain't. He said, compared to now, I wasn't doing nothing.
Correct. And there's only 2 people that have been arrested for that. Y'all remember who it was?
Elvis Presley.
Elvis and him.
Him and Elvis.
That's something.
They couldn't be different enough.
They couldn't be so different. Come on.
Bobby's mentality, like we said in the first part, that certain seeds were planted in him, unfortunately, that were negative seeds. But he always did the push the needle.
Yeah,
he constantly pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And he, in his own mind, I'm testing the waters. But we saw it as him pushing the needle.
Right.
But for him, if he pushed it and got away with it, he pushed even further. got away with it, pushed it even further. And naturally, unfortunately, bad images stick out to people better than good images.
And you could be the best.
That's why he got that tag of bad boy, because it's like he didn't do the norm. Bobby could not stick to the norm. He was always the jack out of the box.
But what did Mike say? An extra snap, an extra bounce? What is that?
Extra bounce. He said he was like, if we was going left, he went left twice. Like
that's right. That's
right. Do his own thing. But we know that that's what a star makes. Like some people just stand out. Like you can look at all the groups. You know, everybody in the groups are talented, but you can look at the standout. You can look at Diana Ross. You can look at Beyonce. You can look at the people who stand out, sometimes even when they don't try. In a group, there's always going to be a standout. Whether you say it's the lead singer or not, there's going to be someone that has a special light that just shines on them. And Bobby, as we talked a little bit about yesterday, he's just had it. Now, if you don't believe us, you can believe Usher. Now, I cried on that part.
Me too. When him and Usher
always talks about, and they talked about Chris Brown and the different young men that he inspired. But Usher had been around him since he was a child, and he said the only tape he had was "Don't Be Cruel."
Don't be cruel.
He said he wore it out until it popped. And he was around him when he was young. He said, I don't remember what he said to me, but just that Bobby Brown was talking to me, it was enough. He always talks about how Bobby single-handedly inspired him to do what he's doing. And the moment when them two was sitting together, and he said, I appreciate you, I love you too. I lost it.
Yes.
Because it was
you know what I thought about?
Moment.
I thought about Michael Jackson and James Brown.
Yes.
When they came full circle at an award show.
Michael Jackson used to love Jackie Wilson too. Yep.
But when he came full circle on stage years later, when he put the robe on James Brown.
I remember that. Yeah.
When I saw that, I thought about when he did that baby, and he was just he was moving his body just like James Brown, and it's like James Brown became Michael Jackson's mirror.
Yeah. But it's just
that's what I thought about when I saw that together with Usher and Bobby.
Yes. But didn't Usher look like he was a little boy all over again?
He did.
He did. Look at him in the face. He looked so like, bashful.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was but that shows the influence. We talked about that a little bit on part 1, where if you didn't know, if you weren't back then you can look at it. It's just like when people were talking about like James Brown and how Diana Ross was and how whoever was back then, we only could look at clips. And we only could listen to stories, but we weren't living it, going in their prime. Like if you seen Diana Ross, you might have seen her when she had already been in business 30, 40 years.
Correct.
But we watched them blossom. And to see that and to see how our boy makes an impact on so many people, as an artist and a human being too.
Not only making an impact on so many people, but through his trials and tribulations, because I like the fact in part 2 where they emphasize certain things. They emphasize he felt betrayed and he felt confined. Two things that we know if you watch part 1. Two things that we know that caused their triggers for him. He felt betrayed.
Like we talked about yesterday.
Like we talked about yesterday. So the throwing of the mic and having the temper tantrum and getting into the fight and not caring and that bad boy image that came out. But you know what the word says, what the devil sets out to be bad.
Yeah.
Listen, God turns it into good, because all that bad boy and all that exposure, it created the Bobby Brown that we all know and love today.
But think about it though. Think about it. That was what he can control, because when you're molested, you can't control that.
Correct.
When you saw them hitting your mom, you couldn't control that.
Exactly, because you're a child.
Friend died in your arms, you couldn't control that. But I control how I act. I can control.
Exactly.
And Ronnie is the one, and I said Mike, but Ronnie is the one said that Bobby always had to do extra snap pump. Ronnie was like, no, pull back. I love the way Ronnie talks though.
Right, and then they, he talks about the freedom. That freedom, he started feeling like I'm not under the foot of New Edition anymore. By the time he got about, I think it was 17, he was like, yo, the freedom. Like freedom. I've been under these people's umbrella, even though he was the lead, he started the song, different things. But now he was under his own, regime and umbrella. I just think, when he got there, it was like, wow, you know what I mean? By the time he was 17, he was like, wow, I'm free. You know what happens? I know as a 17, well, probably happened about 16 for me. When I got 16 years old, I'm like, man, listen, I didn't care. Kendall could tell you.
Mine was 18. Mine was 18, and I literally was following after Bobby.
Mine was like 40. No,
I did more pumping. I did more grinding.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you.
In 1988, I was 18, and I felt like I'm at some form of a legal status. I can vote.
Right. But you do have. I got married at 20, so I was like not listening to, I was doing my thing too. So I feel you on that. But I love when they talked about him getting kicked out, and a lot of people didn't know this. Ricky was singing over his vocals.
Yep.
So he had already recorded. He already recorded
because remember the videos that they
he
did
wasn't in
them,
but his voice.
Yep.
And that's what we were talking about yesterday. How when they were younger, their voices sound so similar. Like, so just imagine, it's almost like Marsha Walsh. Remember when they did Martha Walsh? Excuse me, when they started using in CNC Music Factory, when they started using another voice. Imagine how that must feel. You start the group, they kick you out the group, and they leave your vocal, and you can't even be in the video.
Like I said the first time, it took me a minute to really look at the four of them, especially we Count Me Out, because when Ricky said, "Don't count me out," I'm like, "What's she doing? What you doing, Ricky?" Like, he really didn't have to
look. I love me, Ricky. Don't get me wrong, but Ricky ain't no Bobby. And
he's not
trying to be. He ain't no Bobby.
Nope.
He's
now,
not.
no to Ricky, because we love them all, and everybody. Ricky is somebody's favorite.
Even Ricky said. Even Ricky said he was uncomfortable with doing that.
Yeah, he was.
He was uncomfortable.
Ricky is looking great. He played the part.
He looks real good.
Ricky is looking great. His teeth, he looks good.
He looks good.
But you know who else is good? When they showed all of them old clips of Bobby with that gap, that little boyish smile, he looks so cute.
No, he looks adorable.
He really did.
It's the eyes and the gap for me.
So cute.
Like I can just.
It's the Bobby
people
for me.
Just don't know. I can look at Bobby, listen to Bobby all day, all day, and never get tired.
And even Bobby to this day,
I picked up the song All Day, All Night, and my day was so good.
because you was talking about that yesterday. But even Bobby now, you see his skin. His skin looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Alicia probably got him some products.
Right. And it comes from his sobriety, getting all that stuff out of his system. Him eating right, all of that. And just being, I don't want to say stress-free, but eliminating so much stress and being happy.
Because like he said,
not being confined. Not being confined and not feeling like he's been backed into a corner being married to Whitney. He's been backed into the corner about fatherhood. I mean, let's talk about that. In the beginning, I love the way I think it was Landon. When he said he was committed to be a father. Yeah. Like he didn't.
He was excited and happy.
Correct.
He knew he had to work.
But he had to be. He was who he was. He was miserable if he wasn't on stage. So he tried. He tried his hardest. And what did they say? I love the point that they picked that they pulled out. He never missed
a graduation.
No, never missed an event.
Never missed an event.
And let's talk about that, because Landon, who was his first child, he always knew him. He always was coming back to see him, but it's still. And Landon said something interesting, and a lot of celebrities' kids could probably understand that. Like when he was with Bobby was letting it be known. This is my son. This is my first child. He helped me up like Simba.
Yes.
But then he said, but when I wasn't with my father, I felt like I wasn't nobody.
Correct.
Exactly. And a lot of people, because think about the high. Think about in the New Edition story when Ricky said his high was being on stage, and when he thought he couldn't do that. So think about that, and
that's all performers.
Yeah,
all performers. Yeah. You don't know. I mentioned somebody.
Something letdown. Performer I forget what it's called. It's a
somebody was upset, not upset with me, but my opinion of how much I really like Cardi B. Right.
I like Cardi B too.
And someone was saying, "How do you like?" I said, Cardi B never changed who she was.
Never.
No.
And she is making.
You gotta respect her for being her.
She goes back and takes that little. Well, before she had the second one, they were going back to the grandma. The grandma was spending quality time. You can go as far up as the Obamas. The Obamas brought who they were into the White House.
I love it.
I like Cardi B. Again, exactly. So again, we forget
anybody that can be themselves.
There you go. You forget who these people are because we're so busy seeing them in the limelight that, true families like we are, want to know these people as individuals. The opportunity, in case you didn't hear yesterday, the opportunity that I got to hug Alicia in an emotional moment by expressing to myself, expressing to her as how strong she really was, that moment will forever stay with me because she's no longer Bobby's wife. She is a woman who married a man who, even though she was in the industry, but he
had lost everything when she first married him, or when he first started going together. He wasn't. He was on. I don't even want to bring this up, but he was on Corinne Steffen's couch, not doing anything. And what she did, and I remember Johnny Gill being a real one, because I remember that. I was so mad because Bobby Brown was a star and he had his quote unquote fall from grace. He had just left Whitney. She filmed him on her couch sleeping, and like, this is pretty much the king of Bobby Brown on the couch. And I remember Johnny Gill being so mad, like, how can you do that? I mean, he went in. He is a Gemini like me, Johnny Gill, and we stick up for people. We, and that's
how can you exploit someone at their lowest?
Yes, exactly, and that's what she did. So saying all of that, like, he was at his bottom. And Alicia had him starting off being his manager. And then Tommy was like, I know something else. Like it. And then seeing where he is now, she breathed life back into him. She really did.
But that goes into the word where when you find a helpmate, that's what we're designed to be.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to tear our black men down.
That's right.
We're supposed to be helpmates. Not to say that I haven't done it before, but as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that, wow, we are truly a part of them. And there's a piece that they're missing.
If it's that right one.
If you're the one that's made for him, you're a part of that person. You know what I mean? And again, you can be married to a million people, but if that part of the puzzle is not right, and I always say, I love my husband, my ex-husband, may he rest in peace. But I always felt it was something, that piece of that puzzle that just wasn't, it wasn't connecting. And
I know.
Right. And if you are supposed to be made from this one person's rib, designed for this,
I think they put all the pieces in my box.
Me too. I think I'm with you. I
think mine came from Goodwill, and somebody donated the puzzle. He didn't have all the pieces.
And I didn't have all the pieces. I'm with mine. Might be mixed in your box. Let's compare. Because listen,
I can appreciate how she looks at him.
Girl, does
because I love symbols of love.
I don't like her when she look at him like
that. And when
she
looks at him, I can tell that the look she gives him now is the same look she gave to him when she
back then
to him.
But do you notice her look has changed over the years? Notice that because she used to look hard.
Yeah.
She used to look very. People used to say
now she looks ladylike.
Yes.
But now she's probably because she was dealing with stuff behind the scenes. So sometimes when she used to be with him, they used to be like, she looked mean, she looked hard. Yeah. But now once
that was that sternness of covering him.
She's looking honored. She's looking like because and no, what that tells me is that he's finally getting it. He's finally putting himself first. He's finally putting what matters first. He's happy. You can tell. You can tell.
She definitely catered to his heart, knowing what was in his heart to do.
Yeah.
And I think she put fuel to that.
Yeah.
Because he was at his lowest. And she basically kept telling him, no, you gonna do what you know.
Because she was hard. Remember when she was like, no, you're gonna say what you mean what you say. I'm not dealing with the BS. She had the firm hand. And you know, she's even been known to say like a lot of that stuff wouldn't have been happening if I, because it's a certain type of person for a certain type of man or woman.
Correct.
And it has to be that you given what that person needs. Let's talk about Oakland, California, Mr. Telephone Man. That was a breaking point. We talked about, so this was the point where, Bobby was putting a little extra stank on it and he was making his sets longer. And Mike was like, how can I hold my hands up? Like, how long can I hold my hands up?
My turn.
He said Bobby was coming out in his robe. And then fast forward, I thought about when he was on Soul Train Ward wearing his robe. Remember that?
Yes.
Bobby was coming out any kind of way. Mike said it was so funny with Mike because Mike don't have many parts and he got his little rap parts. Mike said I waited all night.
For my little part.
And Bobby took that. He said they got into blows, right?
Yes.
And he said he started beatboxing over it, and he said it was a 360 theater,
and
everybody could see it. Everybody could see it.
He was tussling.
Everything that was taking place.
Yes.
Right.
Okay,
and then I thought about at the airport when he said he started, Bobby, and I thought that was pretty shady. That, to me, Bobby should have been a part of the conversation. Like, vote me out to my face. They said Bobby was at the airport. Bobby wasn't there.
But it goes back to what Basim said, where it was people in their ear. Because I don't believe that it would have. They were too family close knit, no matter what. That conversation, and even if you watch the New Edition story, when it was on the bus, if you notice, they always nobody wanted to say Bobby was out the group.
Exactly.
Nobody wanted to say it. But again, like you said, people in their and let's play devil's advocate. As much as we love Bobby, I think it was the best decision that they made at the moment. At the moment, I'm not saying one way or another.
What did Ricky say about losing though? What did Ricky say about losing the first part?
There you go. Because that made Bobby's. What did they say about the amount of money that Bobby made that no single artist had made?
That's
14.
His money was ginormous. That's what I heard.
Right.
4
teens made it to Billboard #1, and Bobby Brown was one of them.
And he's one of them. Correct. So that's what I'm saying. Like at that point, you get it because they're trying to save their career, but it helps.
And they're from the hood. They're from the hood. They don't want to go back to the hood. Correct. You got the white manager. Let's keep it real. They had already fired Brooke by then.
Correct.
You got this white manager that don't understand the family.
Calling the shots.
The hood calling the shots, saying you about to mess with my money and their money. Y'all ain't never gonna make it if you got Bobby, and they don't want to go back to the hood. So what they did was they voted their brother out. And Michael, I remember on another interview, he was like, he said that was grimy, and he was like, that was one of the worst things that we did, because remember when they were trying to vote Mike out the group, Bobby was like, no, we brothers.
Can you imagine? Can we just go here for a minute? Just stop and think. How do you spend $1 million in one day?
Buying people buying cars and just
yo, but I'm just saying, like, I can't. He buying cars. Yo, pull over. Let me buy your car, and then just leave it at the air.
That goes back to his giving heart.
But you see, the old
Bobby, giver and still is. He's
older Bobby now. He's like, what the heck was wrong with me? I wish I had cars now.
Like, he was like, I wish I had that now.
He had a mixing bowl.
He was living like a
finance, and all he could do in his mind is share it. Mm-hmm. He had it in an abundance that he had never knew could even exist. Mm-hmm. So even to say that, have that mindset, that goes back to not having.
Correct, not having.
You want to have it,
You gonna flourish it and flourish it and flourish it and flaunt it and flaunt it and flaunt it. And like he said, he flaunted it in the giving way.
Yeah.
He didn't just throw away. He didn't do like Michael Jordan and go gamble it away.
Yeah.
He bought houses. He bought cars.
She said he didn't do it like Michael Jordan and gambled it away.
He didn't gamble it away.
He didn't.
He gave it to people where they could still see the fruit of his labor.
So let's talk about that. Let's save that little part and let's talk about that. He said he ain't singing like Johnny Gill, but he got the sex appeal and the energy like Rick James, and he
like
knew. He had something to prove. He was like, "Oh, y'all gonna kick me out of my group?" Oh, he said he said he was pissed and he had that show him attitude. But sometimes that's the fuel that you need to get to number one.
But look what he did. The smack in the face. I love the smack in the face the way he did it because every little step was written for New Edition. So he like, oh, okay. So you want to play with me? Came back and it blew it out the waters. You understand what I'm saying?
So he was like the bird that was kicked out of the nest and went and got more bread.
And
the ugly duckling. That becomes the ugly duckling. You know how the story goes.
I can't call it ugly duckling. Bobby too fine to be ugly duckling. Don't say ugly duckling. He's too fine for that.
All right, so let's move on down. Let's talk about Girlfriend. It came out in 1986. Him in that blue sweater. Everybody loved that video. Everybody thought they was the girlfriend. You know, he said, I knew I had what it takes. And I love Bobby because he's always humble. Because he's like, I know I ain't no singer. I know I'm not, but I can sing and I got the sex appeal. And really, that's what a star is. Because a star going to be a star regardless. A star's going to always shine, no matter what's happening. So, of course, Landon was born. It goes down talking about Landon, who was born when he was 17. And then Girlfriend was a hit, but it only sold like 300,000 units. So that was his last chance. You know, he had another chance. They said, okay, we're going to give him one more chance to see what he do.
Cruel.
Because, MCA was like, we do hits. And this one.
As I'm concerned, King of Stage, the whole album was a hit for me. Okay?
To me, because Larry Blackman did it.
I know every song on there. I know every lyric. When it come on, I can sing every song.
Definitely was a hit.
This was listening to 17 today.
Right. So he was working with LA and Babyface. Yeah, we know what happened with Don't Be Cruel. Don't Be Cruel. And you know, that whole album is a hit. My Prerogative. I mean, we can go on and on.
But they talk about the New Jack Swing era with the R&B for My Prerogative. You know, when he brought those two, when he brought those two together, you know what they said. They said, "Yo." They said that boy could dance. They so he could Roger Rabbit. Said he was Roger Rabbit.
He was. He said, "You put your shoulders in the back." Everybody know when she said that. I was like, "Yes."
Why was I doing it in the
right? Me too. Yep. Shoot, that was the dance. I can still do the Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
But they talked about the Gumby, and of course, you know, it's been a myth that it was an accident. Bobby said no, he was in the middle of getting his hair cut, and he got that first part. He said, "Leave it."
He was like, "Leave it," just like
Gumby,
that.
He said that Gumby made him a lot of money. But it was funny when Ronnie said that he snuck to listen to Don't Be Cruel in My Prerogative. He was like, snap. He said we already knew what was up. We already noticed.
They got an inkling into the stardom and the star that he truly is.
Yeah.
But did you pick up on the point that how they said Mike partied as much as Bobby? People, that's what goes back to us. Everybody, because they gave all the press on Bobby, but what they said, all press is good press. Because when you being looked at like that, that means the meat. Because now what happens on social media? What's it all about? The likes.
Yeah.
So back then they wasn't. The press was your likes.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's
and Jermaine Dupri, we're gonna talk about him later with Janet real quick. But JD was like pretty much like Bobby had all the components, and he was like, when you have all the components, you can't stop him. Like Bobby had the dance, he had all the components.
Yes, he did.
So on that went over 12 million records. He went multi-platinum with that. So imagine you're the little boy that dealt with the trauma. You're the little boy who was special on the slow bus. You were the one who was counted out. You were the one who was kicked out. You were the one who was abused. You were the one. And then you hit the highest level.
You hit the one.
Wherever, that highest level that you can in your profession, in your career.
Yep.
And you break, not only do you hit the highest, but you break records. And for teenagers, do you notice Michael Jackson as a teenager wasn't on that list?
Nope.
Yeah, you're right.
But Bobby Brown was on that list. So say what you want.
Say what you want.
People like
Michael.
I'm really truly grateful to witness the one that I love and care about get his flowers and his recognition.
We always say
while he can thank you,
and
while he can smile and be appreciative
absolutely
to receive it.
Like Johnny said,
a lot of people back in the day, I think of David Ruffin.
Yeah.
No matter how good of a voice he had, no matter how much of a standout he was, drugs took him out.
Yeah.
And he didn't have that support system.
Yeah.
That's right. Johnny said, no matter what had happened, no matter what it is, Bobby Brown is irreplaceable. He said that. He's like, you can't replace Bobby.
He said, I couldn't replace the Bobby Brown.
Absolutely not. And
that's what everybody thought. Oh, Johnny's replacing Bobby.
He was supposed to be replacing Ralph, but he was like, I can't replace no Johnny.
Like I tell y'all, I couldn't pay attention to none of that because I was Bobby.
But this is the thing.
Bobby.
This is the thing. You get kicked out of your own group. You go on tour with your group, with Albie Shore and all of them. You start off opening for the group that you started, and then you end up being the
headliner.
You would just imagine
picking their face up like, look at our
like y'all gonna, if that ain't I'm gonna show you. If that ain't, I remember when Toni Braxton won her Soul Train Ladies of Soul Train Award a few years ago. And she was saying, Mr. and Mrs. I'ma show them. And I was like, I'ma show them. And she said like that. And everybody's like, who is Mr. I'ma show? She's like, I'ma show them. I'ma show them. So it's just like one of those things that, you know what? You ain't got to say a lot, but you can show them.
Exactly.
And he showed them. Like all the stuff that I was doing that was different in the group, all the stuff that I was doing where y'all were getting mad, which you got to understand, New Editions, the other fellas. If you're a group, I'm sure others wanted to do different things. Others wanted to wear different things. Others wanted to do their thing, but they were so accustomed to the uniform of it. You don't want to rock the boat.
Ricky wound up saying that they were so used to staying in the box because that's what the management did. That's all they did.
But that's what created them. Right. But that's what created them. So that's what they felt like if we go outside, even when they became Belle Biv DeVoe, they did the same exact structure that they had did in New Edition. So they couldn't.
That's right.
Because everybody cannot be an individual like that. It really does take a special person to stand out. It takes a special person to say, I don't like that. I'm going to do it my way. That's not everybody. The majority of the people want to walk the line.
Yep.
They don't want to disrupt the motion.
And everyone's not equipped with that kind of energy.
That's so true.
Yo, what's funny is he slept with Madonna, he loved Janet, and he got bumped by Whitney. What we gonna say about
Right.
that?
So okay, so let's move it on down. Look, I got it in chronological order.
Three of the major women in
Right.
industry at the time.
Let's get on down that. So let's first talk about the bodyguard, AJ. He was like Bobby Brown, been that dude. When he said Bobby Brown, been that boo, that dude. And he said Bobby. All right, so this was a part that really touched my soul. When it was a black lady in the store, that really like touched my soul.
Being disrespected
and had racist comments.
Yep.
Bobby Brown didn't like it, so Bobby Brown bought the store.
Went back and said, you work for her, and fired the guy. How dope is that? Yes.
Bobby Brown bought you a store because he didn't like the injustice.
Yes.
So when he said,
"That's my Bobby,"
give, then it's hard for me to receive. That just showed it. And
that is dope.
All of these years that I've known Bobby, I have never heard that story.
Me neither.
I heard something back in 80. No, it wasn't 88. After 88, I saw it was a concert here in Maryland when me and my god sister Danielle went. Something was being said about him buying something for someone, but I didn't know the details on what he had bought.
That probably was something else. He probably did it so much.
He probably did so much.
But that's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
He probably
just
did
had a trail
so much
of
that
dishing
we don't
out
even know
like
about.
that.
Yeah,
he's probably done that so much. Bobby probably don't even remember doing that. That's how much
stuff he does.
Exactly. But like I say, what I remember, my comment was, "Oh, that's Bobby. He'd give it like that." Like I knew that early on that he just had that giving part about him. And even like I say, I'll go back to his lyrics. Him singing the lyrics, I could see that he felt a lot of what he was singing.
Oh, absolutely.
Which made it even more important to me, because when you see him live and you see how he sings the Storm
and Tenderoni for LaPrincia.
Yes.
You know, when he do that Storm Away and he break that thing down and he really get into it, and like he says in the song, who gonna take care of the babies? That showed his humility and his soft heart. Aside from his bumping and grinding, his heart was still for the babies.
For the babies,
And look how his children respond to him. That can tell you if somebody's a good dad.
Absolutely.
That your kids always want to be around you. They always want to hug you. They fought for their position in his life. Right. So you had Landon, you got Bobby Jr., you got Bobby Chris, you got LaPrincia, you have Bodie, you got all of the new ones.
The new ones, Cash. Cash is gonna be his father. Cassius is gonna be his
He's
father.
starting to look more like him too, if you notice.
But you watch his personality is so Bobby, but not on like the, he's not gonna have the trauma part of it. He's not gonna have the trauma part of it, but that sweetness, he's gonna be his father.
Natural performer. You know, he was in the New Edition story.
Yes. So I just thought it was funny.
Mike Tyson, I'm looking at the time. Mike Tyson and Bobby, they always been tight.
You know that was a mess. That was a mess.
All of them women was in the hotel.
You talking about bad boys colliding?
Well, let's talk about this. Mike, and the first thing I thought of is when Mike Tyson got the rape charge, and just think about Trey Songz, what's happening now with him, and all of these different people. That ain't never happened with Bobby. Ain't no one person.
He raped nobody.
So think about that.
Raped me, I wouldn't have told him about. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But with Mike Tyson,
he could have got it. He could have got it.
All of that to say, like, even something like that, God has been protecting him. Because he was hanging with Mike Tyson. You got 40 women in the room.
Exactly.
You got 20, I got 20, and just think about that. But let's talk about, Tamia talked about Madonna, and he was talking about we ain't do no sleeping. We ain't sleeping.
He said we ain't do no sleeping. Y'all fill in the blanks.
But let's talk about a sex. when somebody
sex,
is exposed to sex early, and
you have no respect for it. You have no respect for it. And the crazy thing about it is he really wish if he could turn back the hands of time when it came to that. We talked about it yesterday because he expressed that more than once. I wish that I could have been taught some some levels of
boundaries.
Like something the boundaries of sex. He didn't have any. But I tell you what, I love the way he respected that Janet though.
He did.
He that's still a mystery, and everybody, and I don't think that truly, I don't think they did anything. But
no, they did. They talked about it
in the book. He talked about it in the book.
I don't know though.
He talked about it in detail in the book.
He
told her, now if your daddy don't want this, I know I already got it. So kick up rocks. I still love you, but kick up rocks. Your daddy don't want this, and I can't control that.
Because he also said, he also says that because he was too dark, that his daddy didn't like it, and from the hood and rough and all of that. But I guess when she got with JD, she was grown at that point because she was in.
He couldn't control.
Yeah, he wasn't even managing her then. He wasn't even managing her then. So no.
So I loved when Jermaine Dupri, y'all know, of course, he went with Janet Jackson for like 11, 12 years. When I saw him on there, I was like, I wonder if he's going to mention Janet too. And they didn't disappoint. And he was like, I remember talking to Janet, like, dang, you dated Bobby Brown. I'm coming after that. Like, you dated Bobby Brown.
Right.
And he talked about that. And he said, and Bobby said, Janet was the crush of my life. I was about to meet the love of my life.
Yep.
And he was talking about Whitney. That's why I said Alicia
is
a
gentleman. He's a gentleman.
She went at, listen, everybody talked about, we said it, what Bobby or Whitney, the big debate, we know what it was about. She came for him.
Yes, she did.
Came for him.
I know she did, because that's the Leo thing. We go after what
she was hitting him in the back of the head.
She knew what she wanted. We did the same thing. We would have did the same, because I'd have did the same thing. I'd have made myself look.
Look, to me, I would have took it to another letter. I would have been blowing in his ear. You feel that?
I would have been like, I'm cold. Can I have that robe?
Right. Y'all know me. I'd have been like, what's under the robe? I was
if you had a robe.
Look, that's why she started picking at him, because she's trying to get his attention to see what's under that robe.
And she knew, but the thing is, and he said just something about that smile.
Something about that
the
smile in her eyes.
That he just really. He said it was love at first sight. And I do believe, that they were together.
Me too.
First night. Because you can tell how that was. And that, we know that, anybody that has been around them or has seen them, you can tell that they loved each other. But when you're dealing with two people with trauma, you're dealing with two people with, trying to suppress things, and you got the entertainment industry, then you got people's expectations of you and how you should be. And you feel like Whitney's favorite saying she would always say is, can I be me?
Can I be me?
There's a lot of movies and autobiographies, but that one, this Can I Be Me, is my favorite one. I've watched it so many times, but it's like about 10 of them out there. But so you find a man who comes from the same place as you,
you could just be you.
And you can be nippy. You can wear, like she be having that wife beat on with no bra.
With no bra.
You put in her mouth. Her wig this way. And
Bobby still love her, so that's all they
y'all know. When I knew, because I already knew he loved her, but I don't know if y'all remember the episode on Being Bobby Brown, when he, in this, y'all, if you got weak ears, turn right now, when he dug in her butt and pulled the poop out. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
He went.
I don't know what phase I was in my life when Being Bobby Brown came out, but I'm glad I didn't see certain things.
I was like, okay, because they were, let me paint the picture for you, Basine. So they were in the bathroom, and she was on the toilet, and he was sitting in the bathroom with her. She was constipated.
Yeah, she was.
And I remember she was trying to do it, and he done went in. I said, "Man, that's a whole new kind of love. Kind of love."
Now listen, y'all know I can't record, so I'm signing off because I got.
Yeah, we can ready to go off now. So let's. All right, y'all. So this is the way we do it. If you like the way we do it, which people have hit me up was like, I loved it, y'all. Y'all did good. So this is part 2. We're talking about doing it the Bobby Brown way. We got 2 more parts getting ready. One's getting ready to start right now, so we are gonna log off, and then so y'all down doing 3 and 4 too. Maybe tomorrow 4. And
absolutely,
then,
I should be available tomorrow. I'll definitely be available tomorrow.
Okay, so we will recap. Anything y'all want to say? Encourage the people right now in 30 seconds. Encourage the people to watch it.
Be yourself.
Continue to pray for Bobby because he is the greatest. He is the king of stage, and he will always have the title King of R&B. I can't say it like Whitney. Bobby! He's my king.
Bobby! That's at the book signing. Bobby said he the king. Whitney said he's the king of R&B, and people was joking, like he ain't no king. Bobby took that name on social media, King Bobby Brown, and everybody that knows Bobby Brown knows. Just check. Look, they said Google him. Check his receipts. He got them. But all right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me on Reviews and News. I don't even know if I introduced these people. You see their names. That's Tamia. That's Spacine. At the bottom, I got T and B. That's how we doing on Reviews and News. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. Peace. Bye, y'all.